Okay, so if you've been following along this week, you know that we've been talking about three exercises: the sumo squat, the Jane Fondas or the side lying leg raises that we've been calling them, and the skydivers. So talking about these three are very, very important. It can be very good staples for going into our mobility routines. These are going to really set the foundation for the things that we need to do. With that being said, they are all very, very intentional. We're going to dive right into the sumo squat. We're going to try to get a couple of angles so that way that you can really get a feel for what we're going. We're going to start off, as you can see, I have no shoes on. You do not have to have shoes to do this. I just kind of want you to see what's going to be going on in my feet. So I'm going to get a little bit of a quarter turn or an eighth of a turn here, and I'm going to have my feet outside of my hips. I'm going to try to bend over. I'm going to bend my knees as much as I need to for this. I'm going to grab my feet, and then I'm trying to sink my hips down. Now, we just want to go down as far as we feel like we can, or as far as you start to feel maybe a little bit of a stretch or some resistance. And what I'm going to do, call this the prayer pose. You don't have to actually be thinking about that. You can press your hands together, or whatever you want to do, but you can push your hands together. And as you see, my knees are separating. And as I do that, I'm squeezing my glutes as hard as I can. And you're going to feel that really want to open up your hips. You're going to try to hold that anywhere 5 to 15 seconds. And then we're going to undo it. I'm going to have those hips come up, and then I'm going to stand up nice and tall. And then we're going to do one more. I'm going to turn to the side so that way you guys get a little bit of a different view of me. But we're gonna do the same thing, right? I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna grab those feet, or as far as I can go down, and then I'm going to be kind of getting into that same position, pushing out my knees, nice and upright posture, squeeze the glutes, and this should feel pretty challenging to hold. As you can see, I'm actually shaking as I demo this, and this is all about intention, right? We're trying to be very, very intentional as we do these exercises. Next one, I'm going to go into my very, very seductive side lying leg raise position here. And we're going to be thinking about, we want to be stacked hips. This is the most important part of being here, right? Besides that, we can get comfortable if you want to get a pillow, if you want to use your arm, kind of how I am. But we want to make sure that we have stacked hips. It's really easy to want to kind of use your hips to do this. From there, I'm going to think about my body like it's a clock, and I'm going to get my foot here at 4 on the clock. So as you can kind of see, I have my toe hitting the ground, but not my heel, which is kind of getting me into a little bit of an internal rotation with my hip. And then I'm going to lift up to about 45 degrees, and then I'm externally rotating, and then I'm coming back down. Now, as we do this, same thing. Think about using that glute, right? I'm trying to squeeze that glute before I even start to lift up the leg, and then start to reach up, just like so. And we can be nice and controlled with this, and we can do a lot of reps. You might not feel that burn coming from that glute until 15, 20 reps in, but when you start to feel that guy working, you're gonna feel it working. Now, the mistake that I see a lot of times is as people reach up, they start to lean back, and then we're not really doing it. That, or they just throw the leg up. And not that this is necessarily incorrect, but we want to make sure that we're keeping the tension on here, and the tension is going to be highest in that kind of bottom range here, and it's going to make sure that we're trying to make the most out of doing this. From there, we can go ahead and go right into that skydiver. I'm going to take the mic off so that way I'm not crushing it and just like Charlie Brown's parents as I do this. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to lay down on our stomach. If you have to have your chest up a little bit, that's okay. But we're going to try and see if we can't have that forehead down as we go. I'm going to kind of have my hands at my face here for the first one. I'm going to try to keep my forehead down. And from there, I'm just lifting up, pinching my shoulder blades. Now, the thing that happens a lot of the times is that we come up and then I see this, right? We're kind of sinking down into it. And what we want to make sure is that we're working the external rotation along with those shoulder blades as we come up, right? We're being very, very intentional. We want to make sure that we don't get our neck necessarily into it, because sometimes what happens is you kind of get this shrug. And if that's too easy for you and you feel like you need to be challenged a little bit, all we have to do is forehead down, elbows up, and from there we're trying to hold that shoulder blade position as we reach out in front of us, and then we come back, and then down, and then back up. It's just that easy, guys. We don't have to overcomplicate these things at all. All right, so if we're going to be putting these together, guys, then we want to make sure that we're going to be capping it at 15 minutes. I know it sounds like we're making it seem like 15 minutes is this kind of special number, but this is just a way to make sure that you stay concise and focused on the task at hand here. So what we're going to be trying to do is that we're going to be setting a timer for 15 minutes. We're going to try to go for 2 to 3 rounds here, and we can cycle through these as if they were a circuit, or we can do one at a time, whichever one tickles your fancy more. But for the sumo squats, we're going to do 5 reps, 15-second holds each at the bottom. For the sideline leg raise Jane Fondas, we're going to do 15 to 25 on each side. Here, I actually like to tell people, go until you get a burn and then do 2 more, because a lot of times you can still squeak out a couple and it's not going to beat you up at all. This is going to be the exercise that you're going to be saying, it's going to make me so sore tomorrow. It won't be too bad, trust me. And then for the skydivers, we're going to try for 10. And for the holding up off of the ground, we're going to try for 5 seconds each. If the seconds aren't perfect, don't feel like you have to have a timer or a metronome or anything like that. Just give yourself a couple of Mississippis as you go, or a nice even paced count as you do this. All right, guys, if you're ready to get started, make sure you reach out at us at www.sylvesterfitness.com. That's SYLVESTER fitness.com. Reach out to us so we can get started today. Thank you, and catch you on the next one.